My name is Dr. Nnezi Uduma-Olugu. I'm an architect and landscape architect of repute. I understand of high repute. And here is my special perspective.
Welcome to another segment called Spatial Perspectives, where we share insights on architecture and bring them to general populace and sort of debunk the whole mystery regarding architecture. So today on Spatial Perspectives, we have here with us Dr. Nnezi, very prolific landscape architect in Nigeria. I have like a lot of questions for you. But let's start from the beginning. So like if you could share with us, like if you could look back to your roots, like how did your background growing up, how did it influence you to get to where you are today? Could you share that with us?
Yeah, it's quite an exceptional question and very strategic. In fact, sitting down here, looking at the atmosphere, all the plants and the greenery, and they, half cover, half shelter, half outside. It stirs memories. As a young person, I was very much into flowers. I love flowers. In fact, as a secondary school student, anytime I'm coming back from school, I will go and use my money and buy from the market garden different flowers to go and plant in my mom's, in my mother's garden at home. So for a student then who didn't have much money to use her money that way, that already put me in that sphere of I love flowers. But beyond flowers, as a young child, I could draw. I was always doodling in class. Even while they are teaching me, there will always be something I'm drawing in my exercise book or textbook. It could be a face, it could be a dress. I was always doodling. And so I realized I could draw very well. So I started practicing faces, different human beings, mostly female figures. And I realized I could draw very well. By the time we went into the art class, I excelled so well. So I now started asking myself, what can I do with this skill? Fortunately for me, my father was an ambassador, as at that time a retired one. So he had schooled us, he guided us. And I talked with him and my mom, who was an educator too. And our exposure, we had traveled out, I had seen things. So it was like, I was very good in French, I was very good in arts, I was okay in science. Initially I wanted to do as everybody in my age, to be a doctor, but I hated chemistry. I couldn't stand it. But the art was very strong, and I was asking, what could I do with it? I almost abandoned the thing because I kept thinking the examples I had then were, all these artists on the road. They will paint somebody
and they just place it
and hope the person will buy it and pass.
That's not very
and
encouraging.
I said, no, that's not a good use of my time. I mean, I would never go anywhere. Until I met a cousin of mine who came to our house in the village.
Like around what, like year? Do you remember the period?
I must have been about my teenage years, of course, before university. I was trying to focus and decide what to do. So I must have been like 13, 14, thereabout. I hadn't taken jam. So I saw him with a model, houses, road, small buildings, small cars, a little human being. I was completely intrigued. I'm like, what is this? So he brought it down. He said, okay, architects do this. And this is a model of a building that he had done. It has this, it has this. After that, I was taking with architect. There was no other thing to do. I said, I must have it.
Alright.
And so I put it in architecture. I put it in JAM. Unfortunately, JAM jammed me.
Okay.
I've done several people.
Yeah.
And then at that time, a lot of people said, why don't you think of someone else, something else? You can do French, you can do this. They can move you to urban and regional. You can move them.
You're like architecture. One and only.
It had to be.
Wow, that's nice. Fell in love with it. Like,
I did.
First class.
I did.
Wow. So like, when you like fell in love with architecture, how did you have that mental shift that was going to be landscape architecture? It's like many people when they come in contact with architecture, there's interior, there's urban, like you mentioned. So like, why landscape architecture?
When we were being taught architecture at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, well, in the campus, because that's where the architecture program is.
Yeah.
We had a Polish teacher called Spechman, architect Spechman, and he taught landscape architecture in a manner that I'd never seen before. Different, each time his class finished, they will have some model with rocks, water, trees. It was intriguing. And so I always looked forward to, when he would teach me this landscape class. Yeah. And it was usually taught close to the end, maybe 4th year or thereabouts, or 5th year. So I really looked forward to it. And then he also, noticing my penchant for architecture, noticed me and singled me out. And he actually told me that I was going to be a great architect. The world would be about me one day. So that he was looking forward to teaching me. Unfortunately for me, when it came my turn to be taught by Spechman, I don't know what politics he did. Spechman left. In fact, all the expatriates left, including Spechman. My heart almost broke. Because I was going to learn from the master. And he left. Unfortunately for me, they sent us a copper who just spent that time talking. I can't say I learned anything. He always talked about canopy trees. So that's you remember. That's all I know that I got. So that was it.
Wow.
So after that was where I now said, okay, when I'm done with architecture, I will do landscape. I want to understand it. Yes.
So like on the side, did you ever get to connect with that?
Unfortunately, no. I don't even know if he's still alive. I did ask some questions. They said he went back to Poland. He was schooled then, so by now, I don't think he's still there. But I could see him. He really inspired me. And when I had a first class after the first 4 years, I was very happy. Because he had said it, that I was going to. He saw the potential even before myself, before I knew that I was that good, so to speak.
So like you made mention about you leaving school knowing fully well that you wanted to do that.
Yes.
It's like you graduated with like with first class honors, best in your class, like outside the country.
Yes.
So like how was that for you? How did that shape your journey? And like what felt, okay, you said different things felt your passion for landscape. Like what felt you even going out of the country to like push it to the limits, the very best?
Well, close to the time I had just done the first degree, we knew about Commonwealth Scholarship.
Yeah.
And someone told me about it, and I was very interested.
Okay.
So I said, that would be the best thing to do too. But no one was teaching landscape in Nigeria by then. So it had to be out of the country. So eventually I did go on a Commonwealth Scholarship. So I did go to Canada on a Commonwealth Scholarship to study landscape architecture. So it was a Canadian Commonwealth Scholarship that paid for me to go.
You did that exceptionally. That's everyone is proud of that.
Yeah, they gave me a gold medal.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Okay, so like reflecting on your body of work and your time spending in architecture within Nigeria and outside the country. So like, what unique challenges do you think exist in the landscape architecture space? That's like a broad view.
Well, it's relatively a new profession, and a lot of people see it as elitist. Not too many people can afford to build their own houses or build whatever they want. Not even too many people, after they have built, can now afford to pay somebody else to have a good landscape. And yet both of them are compatible. They complement each other. So if you see a beautiful building on barren land, it will truly look unfortunate. So because it is new, a lot of people don't contend with it. You know, they would rather study architecture, study anything else but landscape. So the same opportunities that is presenting is also the same thing that is killing it. So there are not enough people that have studied it. We do not have the volume to make sufficient noise. And unfortunately, the architects, I'm an architect myself, I'm chartered. The architects mostly want to subsume landscape architecture. From what they're saying, the decree allows ACON to control anybody that wants to answer architect. And we have a small society of landscape architects. We are growing, but the numbers are not such that we can competently deal with NIA or ACON at that level. So the fact that we are few, we should create a niche. Yeah. Unfortunately, in real life, apart from there are few people that are coming, the jobs that should come to specialized landscape architects are given to their grandmothers, mistresses, anybody, given to anybody because they feel, oh, it's something to plant flowers. Whereas landscape architecture is far more than planting flowers. So unfortunate. So if you see a job, a project done by a landscape architect, you will know. The difference will be clear. Beyond mastery. Yeah, there's mastery. And landscape architecture is far more than planting trees. Yes. Certainly much more. We are supposed to be the custodians of Earth's resources. All this business of sustainability, etc., etc. We are at the forefront of it and have been GIS, all that. We have been. So garden making or garden design or making parks, etc., is just a minuscule aspect. But that is the more visual. But etc. A lot of things are underneath.
With your knowledge about landscape architecture, how does it generally influence your design as an architect? Because you made mention about you being an architect, still a landscape architect. So how does that balance? How does it work?
Well, I always look for ways to bring the outside in. Even from my thesis as a landscape student, the topic had to do with an indoor-outdoor relationship of a building. So I actually did a building, but I brought water into the parlor.
Water into the parlor?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
There are stones, there are a little river that passed through. There were many ideas. I was full of ideas. How, when it's snowing or when it's raining, how it's affecting the house and all that. So all that has synthesized as an architect. I often find I use courtyards where plants are planted. I try to encourage the indoor-outdoor relationship of spaces so that even though, that's why I say I liked where we are, even though you're outside, you're really inside, or you're inside, but you're really outside. So, and I do a lot of, bringing the indoors, outdoors in the spaces I have. Yes.
Having that dynamic interplay spaces. That's actually very, very important. Just with the experience. So like, in terms of your design and you being a tutor. So how do you help students sort of connect the dots between academia and practice? Because like I know you being taught by different people that inspired while you were like coming up. How do you like pass on that fire, that flame to your upcoming generation?
It's actually a lifelong desire to mentor students.
Oh wow.
I don't let students pass through me without me passing through them. I must ensure that I make a mark in their life, positive mark in their life. So passing through me, you must get something out of me. And anybody who is serious and has passed through my class should be able to answer to that. And that being the case, I always tell them, I'm teaching you not so that you can pass, because I tell them from the first class, everybody has an A. But as you now go, you are the one that will be subtracting it. Everybody, I've done classes where 80% had A. I'm prepared to give it to you if you earn it. But if you choose not to come to class as and when, or you choose not to do the assignments, or you're not listening, you're
not like very serious.
Yes, if you're not serious about it, me too, I will not be serious with you. But more importantly, to influence you in such a manner that when you leave, you will remember the things I have taught. And I do follow them up. I teach it in year 3. When I see their work in year 4 or MED 1 or MED 2, I'm always asking, where is the landscape? I taught you. I can't see it. And so I know if I'm able to ingrain it on the person, when you're in practice, it will come through. So you're not an architect that doesn't know your environment. You must find how to incorporate that environment. And indeed, there are people I've met in the field whose forte is landscape. They didn't study landscape architecture. It was from the 2 minutes landscape classes that they had from school. Yeah, so that must mean that they did get something from it. But if it is not parallel, it cannot be parallel. No matter how much I teach you the landscape, still come to the experts for expert opinion.
True. That's very true. So like, let's say, given like your opinion, what would you say would be the biggest, or some of the biggest challenges that Nigerian like environment faces in terms of climate, different things?
Oh, there are plenty. There are very many. Flooding, erosion. I mean, where do you begin? Everything that influences other places influences us. However, we are thankful and grateful we don't have tsunami, we don't have earthquake, we don't have that level of chaos, so to speak, which is as a result of climate change. We do have weather changes. The rain doesn't come as and when due, and all that. There are weather changes that we have. There's desert encroachment. There are lots of things. These are just things off the top of my head that I can just say, immediately. But we are a part of a global village. So everything every other person experiences, we have our own experiences. Those that perhaps we deal with it in another fashion, so to speak. Yes.
Okay. So like I was having like this I call it a thoughts conversation with myself, where I was thinking about how landscape architecture helps solve some of the issues that are facing the urban scape. I don't know if you could share, if you've had like similar.
Of course.
For places like Maputo, or like those very congested settlements that exist in Nigeria, or let's say Lagos. Yeah. Like, do you have any?
Interestingly, my PhD was in the Lagos lagoon that I'm looking at. I actually went into a boat and rode along the edges and shoreline of the lagoon, down to Langbasa, then back again to the end of it, and all that, and back to Unilag. And I saw the devastation that has been caused by piles of rubbish that are pulled into the lagoon.
Always management.
waste management, the houses on stilts, which they are not by themselves bad because there are lots of temporary residences, but it can actually be done in an orderly fashion, and people can actually live on stilts, and it can even become a tourism attraction if it is properly done. Yes, there are many things that we can do with it. However, the way it is now,